I've been noticing something lately that more and more women over 40 are saying that they want to leave the United States, not to travel, but to start over, to live. And honestly, I can understand why. If you're new to my channel, I'm Rhoda. I moved abroad at 52, and I'm meeting other women who have also done the exact same thing. I've met women from different backgrounds. We all have different reasons for leaving the US, but we all feel the same way, that life in the US just wasn't working anymore. So today I want to talk to you about the real reasons women are leaving, what I'm actually seeing, and what life abroad in midlife actually looks like for us. A lot of women I met are just tired. They said that they're tired of the pressure, tired of the stress, tired of feeling unsafe, and tired of just having to constantly be in survival mode. When you get to midlife, you start asking yourself, is this all there is? Is this how my life is going to be for the next 20, 30 years? And that's when I realized that I needed to change my environment and to leave the United States. I would go to bed on a Sunday and dread waking up Monday morning to go to work. It's not because I hated my job. I loved my job. I loved being able to help people in healthcare. But what I hated was management. And I decided that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life living like that. The cost of living right now in the United States is pushing women out. It's getting more and more expensive for women to live, single women, even people with families. Housing, groceries, healthcare, all those costs are rising day to day. And what I discovered is that I could live in another country and not just scrape by. So for a real example of how much less and how much more affordable it is to live in another country, here in Albania, I'm paying about $700 per month for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. That's about a 67% savings compared to what I paid for rent back in the US. I pay about 35 euro for my electricity bill. Back in the US, my electricity would be between 150, depending on the summer or winter. And I lived in Jacksonville, Florida. I could have paid between 150 and 200 US for my electric bill every month. Now, there are women here in Albania who are living and paying much less than I am because I'm in the city where rent is more expensive. But if you live in other cities like Saranda or Vlorë or Durrës, you can actually pay a lot less in rent. My internet is about 18 US a month. 1800 lek converts to about 18 US. And that's internet that's strong enough to help me upload and edit videos. I pay about $15 per month US for my water bill. And that's just a rough estimate of what the cost of living here in Tirana, Albania is for utilities. And as I said, it could be less depending on where you live in Albania. If you live in a different city, you could pay less in rent and even less in your utilities. So roughly about 65 to 120 US for all my utilities, including my cell service. Another benefit of living abroad as a woman, whether you're single or you're in a relationship, is that you feel safer living in another country. For example, I don't feel afraid to go out at night. I don't have that tension that I used to feel when I was in the US. I don't have to worry about when I go into a cafe, a restaurant, or to do my grocery shopping, or if I'm at a entertainment venue, I'm not concerned about a mass shooting. I don't worry about sitting with my back to the door. I go in and I sit wherever I want. I'm not thinking about what's going to happen if somebody decides to walk in and just, kill everyone. In the US, we were so desensitized to violence that I didn't realize how much I was hyper vigilant all the time living in the US. Whereas here, I feel comfortable moving around, walking around, living my life as a single woman here in Albania. When you're in an environment where you don't have to feel so hyper aware or so hyper vigilant of your surroundings all the time, you're able to be your authentic self without fear of punishment, judgment, or rejection. When I first moved here, I was in vacation mode. The first 2 weeks, I felt like a tourist. Now 30 days in, and I'm building a real life here. I have a daily routine. I'm building familiarity where I know where to get my groceries, where the bakery is, where the butcher's is, because you're able to buy fresh bread that costs like $1.80 something cents, less than $2 for a loaf of bread. You're able to go to the butcher's. It's a common thing here. It's not something that's rare like in the US, where you have to pay a premium price for fresh meat. You can find the butchers every couple of blocks here and pay very little for meat in the butchers. With every move abroad, there's always challenges. And one of the challenges that I've experienced here in Albania is opening a bank account. Opening a bank account here in Albania is not like opening one in the US. You walk in, you have your documentation, and you have your cash on hand, and you open an account. As a foreigner here in Albania, which is probably true for any country you move to, we're required as US citizens to complete a W-9 and a FATCA, FATCA, that declares that we are US citizens. In addition, there's also going to be a background check. So I have been waiting for a little over a week now for that background check to come back that actually allows me to open an actual account here in Albania. So I submitted my passport, the documentation needed, but I'm waiting for clearance or the background check to come back before I can actually open a bank account. And the reason I need to open a local bank account is so I can pay my utilities, my water and lights and phone. I'm not able to use my US bank account or US Visa card here in Albania to pay utilities. Living here in Tirana, I've noticed some cultural differences, like, for example, the coffee culture, cash culture, and the smoking culture here in Tirana. The coffee culture here is, to put it mildly, extreme. Imagine the 90s or early 2000 when Starbucks was on every corner across the US. Here in Albania, it's said that there's 654 cafes for every 100,000 people. That's a lot of coffee. Albanians drink coffee every day, all day, 7 days a week. Albanians sit with their family, their friends for hours and enjoy coffee. And many of the coffee shops also double as bars, so you can order coffee or you can order a cocktail as well. Another cultural difference is the cash culture here in Albania. And what I mean by that is you won't be able to go into every store, every bar, every restaurant, every venue, every retailer and just take out your card and use it. Here in Albania, the majority of places that you encounter will only accept cash. I have heard that they've gotten a lot better in accepting cards in a lot of places. I have found that the bigger retailers, the bigger shops, the box stores will accept cards. But the smaller grocery stores, mom and pop stores, the butchers, a lot of places still only accept cash. So you may want to revive those mental math skills if you plan on moving to Albania. Another challenge for me personally in Albania is the smoking culture. I don't smoke, and smoking in Albania is the norm. It's part of the society. So women smoke, men smoke, and everywhere you go in restaurants or coffee shops, you will find that people are out in public smoking. People could be walking down the street and they'd be smoking a cigarette. So if you are someone that, let's say you suffer from asthma or you have COPD or breathing problems, I would not recommend moving to Albania. And my perspective is in Tirana. I'm in the city. It may be different. Might be less smoking in other parts of Albania, like the coastal area or other smaller towns. But if smoking is going to be an issue for you culturally, where you're exposed to it, then Albania is not the place for you to move to. Despite those differences and challenges, I have found that Albanians are among some of the most hospitable and friendliest people I've met. And I've traveled to about over 50 countries. There's something called BESA here, which basically means that they put people first. So Albanians don't discriminate against someone based on their religion or their ethnicity. People first, God second. So the rewards from me moving to Albania have been peace, affordability, and a more calmer, slower pace of life. So if you're a woman and you want to know if moving abroad is right for you, ask yourself, what do you want your life to feel like when you move abroad? Are you craving peace, affordability, a fresh start? Are you willing to start over? Are you open to a different pace of life? You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to have the first step. If you're a woman and you're at the point where you're rethinking your life in the US, I want you to know you're not alone. Go to my website and start by downloading the free Move Abroad checklist. If you want clarity, I offer a free 15-minute phone call. Start there, link is in the description. You're not crazy for wanting a different life, you're early. And remember, you don't have to have everything figured out, but you do have to start somewhere. I'll see you in the next video.